I'm Rex Rogosh, and let's queer up the USA View. The Tennessee Legislature has passed the Charlie Kirk Act. If signed by Governor Bill Lee, the law would prohibit public colleges and universities from blocking invited speakers, even those with views considered discriminatory. It also protects faculty and speakers from retaliation based on their positions on homosexuality or transgender behavior, regardless of whether that opposition is motivated by religious or non-religious belief. The legislation requires institutions to adopt the University of Chicago's freedom of expression policy. The policy states that a university's fundamental commitment is to the principle that debate or deliberation may not be suppressed even if ideas are deemed offensive or immoral. Under the bill, actions such as disrupting events, blocking views, or staging walkouts that cause considerable disruption could lead to disciplinary action. Penalties may include probation, suspension, or expulsion for both student and faculty. State Representative Gino Bulso, who sponsored the bill, said it is named after Charlie Kirk, quote, because he actually gave his life in the defense of freedom of expression and doing so in a civil manner, end quote. Opponents argue the bill limits protest rights. State Representative Justin Jones noted, quote, it's ironic that this body is talking about free speech when we had professors in Tennessee schools expelled and suspended when they did not mourn the death of Charlie Kirk, end quote. Kirk was a right-wing activist known for anti-LGBTQ+ rhetoric. He was assassinated in September during a speaking event in Utah. Oh, I'm going to get canceled for this one too. Look, as somebody who took speech and debate and was on speech and debate teams for most of my high school and into my college years, I do believe in healthy speech and debate. I believe that anybody should come to the table to be able to say their views. You don't have to agree with the views. And in fact, that's what speech and debate is for. You're not debating somebody who agrees with you.
Right.
So I do believe that people should be able to go to an organization, a school or whatever, and say, hey, I want to have a speech and or debate or discussion about this topic. That should be allowed. I agree. What I take offense to is I, as a person who is at said debate, should be able to protest. There are legal ways to protest. I'm not saying cause a commotion, throw a bomb scare, any of those types of things. But you should be able to legally do those things. If you want to get up and walk out, you have 2 legs or a wheelchair, you can exit the building.
Yep.
If you don't like something that I say, turn the channel. Like, you have the ability to do those things. You have those options. However, to limit that is the problem I have. To state that, you know, a school goes, oh, I don't like your views, you can't come here. I mean, if it's a private college, sure, but if it's a public college, they should be able to go and have a civil debate. Period.
I mean, I'm really in total agreement with you, with one caveat: it needs to be reciprocal. Mm-hmm. And I think that's agree. Where some of the issues and probably concerns are going to be is, okay, they may allow that to happen, but would they allow us to come and create a debate?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
For LGBTQ rights.
Well, that's the thing. A debate is two ways. So you're either having a stage debate with you and another person or panels on stage, or you're having an open discussion or debate with your audience.
But from what I understand, what they were saying is they are allowed to invite anybody as a speaker, not just for a debate. So I want to I want to invite somebody who's going to speak exclusively on an anti-LGBTQ plus platform, and the student body is prohibited from getting up and walking out.
Right, and that's what I have a problem with.
And that's part of it. Yeah. But also, the state senator
Jones,
mm-hmm. who was quoted there, wasn't he one of the 2 black legislators that was censured and actually kicked out for speaking up?
Yeah, that's the problem with what's happened.
So for him to say that for this body of government to now want to restrict that or support that seems a little hypocritical.
I mean, unfortunately, free speech has been debated in this country since the day that we created free speech, right?
Yeah.
It's free speech when it benefits the person who's claiming that their free speech is being inhibited most of the time, unfortunately. Free speech is you can say whatever you want as long as it doesn't incite a riot, right?
Free speech is not free from consequence.
Right.
Correct. That's the other thing that a lot of people. So I can't run into a building and yell fire, and that's not free speech. But a healthy, I have a view on X and you have a view on Y, and we have a conversation. We might leave changed. We might leave with you're still an idiot.
Right.
But it doesn't incite a riot, and unfortunately, I keep seeing our schools going away from education because healthy debate is part of education. I've said it before. People who don't like what I say or people who don't like me, allow me to have a conversation, and I might change their minds. And guess what that's called? It's called progress, people. So, and it's sad to me to see colleges starting to chip away at that because they're afraid of repercussions of getting their funding cut or yada, 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 yada. Right. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We've been talking about it.
Yeah.
For eons.
Well, there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.